Our day is not over just yet.
Woohoo! USA! USA!
We have an action-packed hour for you 6 p.m. drivers.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
And that is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for February 25th, 2026. Thank you for joining me. We have lots to talk about tonight, and I just realized something that I did on last night's show that I don't like when I do. And it's when I say, I'm going to talk about this at the end of the show, and then I don't do it. It's not on purpose. It's definitely my forgetfulness, and I'm trying to be better at that. But I did say last night I was going to talk about a lawsuit that Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes are involved in, and I was going to kind of defend for once Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So I'm going to put that in my notes right now to go with the Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes story before we get out of here. It just hit me. And, usually it hits me on the way home from work. And I'm like, no, why did I do that? Why did I do that? All right. I'm a little weird today, if you can't tell. Thanks to everybody on the chat right now. The chat is now working. Before, YouTube was broken, and now it is fixed. You can come and join the chat if you would like. Most of the Skrabinators are in the Skraby Show chat at the Skraby Show. SKRAB as in boy, Y. And you could also watch it on 97.3 The Fan. You could also watch it, or YouTube, Facebook, 97.3 The Fan, X, 97.3 The Fan SD, and my X, at Matt Skraby, MATTSKRAB as in boy, Y. I also think I have a great daily gripe because I had to leave my house early this morning. I had my other job this morning with the Voice of San Diego. Love it. I'm getting to learn a lot about the city of San Diego and the ins and outs of everything that's happening in the city. But I don't necessarily like driving in as early as I have to, but it's my job, so I do it. And I had to go through some traffic today, but there was one specific part that I was not happy about, and I'll tell you about that. Wow, Eric says, hello, Skraby. Happy to get to listen to you for a bit. Matt, I'm getting off work this late. Yeah, I don't know what you do, but thank you for listening and thank you for tuning in. Oh, you missed the afternoon show. I gotcha. Well, we're going to talk about Michael King here in just a second. We're going to talk about Craig Stammen here in just a second. Actually, you're going to hear from Craig Stammen in just a second. Sammy Leff caught up with him after the game. Eric says, Skraby needs a show sheet with talking points. I have it. It's right here in front of me. I don't know if my sheet, if people could see my sheet, but it might not have a ton of stuff in it right now, but it does. I do have a show sheet. I do a show sheet every day. Here's also the show sheet for our other show, the Gwen and Chris show. So it looks empty, but there's a lot of stuff in there. I promise you there's a lot of stuff in there. I don't like it when I forget things, but anyway, I need to stop talking about it and stop worrying about it. Now, let's talk about Michael King for a second, because Michael King made his spring debut and he went 2 2/3, only gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run, and he struck out 4. Now, Tony said when he was on the show with me that Michael King looked ace-like, and that's a great thing to know because the Padres are going to need Michael King to be ace-like this year. They definitely did not get that from him last year, but I have a better feeling going into this year. But knowing that Michael King was as sharp as he was in his first start in spring training was very welcome for me. And if you're looking at what the Padres did pitching wise today, they gave up 3 runs, whatever. But they had some pretty good outings from guys who are at the major league level. Just talk about Michael King, 2 2/3, 4 strikeouts. Alec Jacob, 1 1/3 innings, struck out 3. No hits, no walks. Michael King also didn't have any walks. Ty Adcock, 1 inning, 1 strikeout, no hits, no walks. Kyle Hart, 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Cruz, he got 2 earned runs on him, but other than that, Haynes was good, 1 inning, 2 hits, no walks, no strikeouts, and Logan Glaspie, 1 inning, gave up a hit and 3 strikeouts. So, I mean, the Padres are striking out some guys. They struck out 14 Angels today. And offensively, it went, great. Obviously, they scored 7 runs. But really, what I was most concerned about today was what was going to happen with Michael King. We already know it was great. And then what was going to happen with Manny Machado in the second spot. So let's hear from Craig Stammen after the game with Sammy Lev. And Sammy asked him to break it down.
The 2-run double. How do you view him?
Sorry, I need to go back a little bit. My bad.
Craig, what you think of the way Michael pitched?
Yeah, he pitched great. Looked really good. We had him scheduled for at least 2, and then he looked so good we let him go out there for the 3rd. So a lot of good work for him today. Looked healthy, threw the ball great.
Mason McCoy had the nice play up the middle, had the 2-run double. How do you view him in the race for a bench spot? He's a guy who's contributed the last couple of years.
Yeah, like his bat came alive today, made a great play on defense. He brings a lot to the table. Not so much with the bat. We need him to play great defense, be able to move around the diamond, run the bases. He checks those boxes, start taking team at bats, and we got something we can work with. And he's, got some experience now in the big leagues the last couple of years, so the sky's the limit for him going forward.
Is that Ty France at bat like an example of how ABS can change the game?
Yeah, exactly. That was, we hadn't really seen it change the game like specifically. We've seen a few pitches and at bats change. That one, man, gets the call, doesn't strike out, and then hits a 2 RBI single to take the lead. So, huge at bat for us.
For Michael, does it seem like he kind of has a chip on his shoulder this spring, just knowing that he only pitched like 70 innings last year?
Yeah, a little bit. I think he wants to pitch 200 innings, and he made no secret of that. And he's going to come out and compete for us, and we're excited about having him there.
200 innings. That would be very, very nice to get 200 innings out of Michael King this year. I think he could do it. I mean, I know he's been talking about that for a couple years now. Talk about how he wants to get to 200 innings, and maybe this year is the year. But I guess I should, one of the things I should have pointed out about the offensive side was Ty France, and they just talked about it, and Tony was talking about it with me earlier. And so what happened was he, struck out, or was a called strike. I can't say called strike. I got to figure out how to talk about this. He had strike 3, challenged it. It got overturned, and then he hit one up the middle for 2 RBI. So that is a benefit of the ABS system, is turning a strikeout into a 2-run single. And so I don't know how many times we're going to see something like that happen this year, but it is going to benefit, and it's going to go against the Padres probably as much as it's going to go against other teams. So it's going to be heartbreak and it's going to be happiness, depending on which side of the call we are on. But that's exactly perfect usage of the ABS system. Ty France knew he was it was the wrong call by the umpire, and then he turned it into 2 runs. So I am looking forward to seeing how that goes going forward. But Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr., they've never really hit back-to-back. I mean, not a lot, because Fernando has been leading off all of last year. Mainly he led off. But I think Fernando is going to be the cleanup hitter this year. Again, I know that he's going to lose around 40 or 50 at-bats. But if he's able to drive guys in throughout the season, it's all going to even out. But here's where I think Craig Stammen and everybody is looking at this. Manny Machado in his career, he's mainly hit third. His most number of at-bats is batting third. He's got 3,500 at-bats batting third. Batting second, he has 2,004 at-bats. Now, he doesn't hit much cleanup, and he doesn't lead off much in his career. I'm assuming that the leadoff was mainly earlier in his career when he was with the Orioles. But if you put Manny third, you're putting him in his most comfortable spot with a 275 batting average, 825 OPS. Now, if you put him in the second spot, he has a little bit higher batting average at 279, a little bit lower OPS at 802. Now, how much does that matter? I think in the scheme of things, in individual matchups, it matters, but over a season, it will probably even out. But if you look at Fernando and where he's hit in the lineup over his career, he's led off the game 311 games. So he's got 1,240 at bats leading off, and he's hit 291, 905 OPS. Batting second, he has 1,079 at bats, a 255 average, and an 804 OPS. So not, even though he's batted there the second most times in his career, not his best spot according to the stats. Batting third, he hasn't really batted third in his entire career. He's only had 52 at bats hitting third. But here's where I think, and this is a small sample size, but here's where I think I'm getting the indications that Fernando is going to be the cleanup hitter of this team. Because if he, in his career, again, small sample size, 159 at bats, he has by far his best numbers. He hits a 308 batting average and 991 OPS. He has 12 home runs and 39 RBIs, and he has 11 doubles. Now, when Fernando is going, he is one of the most feared hitters in all of baseball. So I can see why the Padres want to put Manny and Fernando back to back. I also think we're not going to do that whole right, left thing, because it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Yet today, you had right, left, right. So we're not going to have the lineup predicated on going back and forth between righties and lefties. And that's what happened last year, because you always had to find that equation. You always had to find, okay, Fernando's a righty to lead off. Luis Ariz is a lefty. Then we got Manny. And then it was Jackson Merrill in the 4 spot or some other lefty, it seemed like. But I want to see this. I want to see them give it a good go. Not something that they just try for like a couple weeks. And if it doesn't work, then they're going to do something else. But having Manny in the 3rd spot and then having Fernando in the 4th spot is going to strike fear into pitchers. And that's what you're trying to do. You want to make sure that a pitcher is thinking, hey, I got to be really good with Manny Machado. A, I don't want him to put a ball over the fence. And B, I don't want to walk him. Because if I walk him, then I'm facing Fernando Tatis Jr. with Manny Machado on base. And that's high pressure, high leverage moments. So if you have a lineup like this, let's say the opening day lineup, the first 4 guys is going to be Bogey, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis Jr. Bogey, I'm assuming I'm just gonna assume that he's gonna finish with the same stats that he did last year, which were moments of greatness and moments of not greatness, which is not a great way of explaining that. But you have him to lead it off. If he gets on base, he's gonna be able to steal a base if he needs to. So you got pressure on the pitcher right out the gate with Bogey on base. And also, Bogey's not going to hit a bunch of home runs. If he hits some doubles, you could start the game with a leadoff double, and then you're facing Jackson Merrill. And we all know what Jackson Merrill can do. Jackson can hit a home run. He could triple. He could double. He could do whatever he wants. And so if you're a pitcher now, you're thinking, all right, I got Bogarts on second, Jackson Merrill coming up. All right, I walked him. Now I got Manny Machado with 2 guys on base and no outs. And it could go the other way. It could go the first 2 guys get out. But then if Manny gets on base or Manny hits a home run, then you still have to deal with Fernando. So I like the 1 through 4 in this lineup. And I want to see this be what they do for at least the first portion of the season. Because last year we saw the lineup have Luis Ariz there every single day. And it didn't change things. And so I want to see this. If you're going to go with the lineup in baseball, you got to give it some games. You can't just make a quick reaction and say, hey, this isn't working. We've played 25 games. It's not working, so we need to change it up. I think this is going to work. And I think that if Fernando is in a spot where he feels, and he said this, he doesn't like, or he didn't say he didn't like hitting leadoff, but we all took from it that leadoff spot is not his favorite spot to hit. So make him happy, put him in the cleanup spot, and see what happens. I think I don't. That's where the superstars go in the lineup. So this is a no-brainer. They didn't really have anyone last year that they could have hit leadoff. So I'm glad that they kind of made a change of some sort to look at what happened last year and realize that maybe we need one of our power bats in the cleanup spot. Maybe our power bat is best served later in the lineup, and that's what they're doing. So if this is what holds, I'm in on this. But as I told you, Manny batting third. I mean, Manny's stats, if you want to go and be impressed by consistency, go to Manny's stats, go look through the splits, go look through his career and see how he hits against lefties, how he hits against righties, how he hits in these counts. A lot of his stats are completely the same throughout everything, which is so consistent, and it's incredible how consistent he is. Let's see. Gonzo says Castellanos second. Possibly. I need to see a little bit more from Castellanos, and I'm not sure if we're going to get the Phillies bat or if we're going to get the bat from a few years ago. I need to see a little bit more before I put Castellanos in the second spot. I mean, if he's in there, if he's filling in at first base or something, he could bat in the fifth spot where Gavin Sheets was today. And I think that's a good spot for him. I like someone in the fifth or sixth spot, like a Nick Castellanos or a Gavin Sheets, because it's still, again, pressure on the pitcher. And this lineup is longer now that we're all seeing what's going on here. And I'm drinking the Kool-Aid and jumping on board. This lineup is a lot longer than I think we all thought it was, at least so far in spring training. I know it doesn't mean anything until we get to the actual games, but I need to see a little bit more from Castellanos before I put him at the second spot. Dominic says, bottom line, Stammen seems more flexible and willing to move things around. I would have to agree with that, but we'll see what happens during the season. As I've said a few times, I'm very curious to see how Craig Stammen handles things when things get a little bumpy during the season. Not a roller coaster, because that is not a good word or a phrase. Or not a phrase. I don't even know. But not a roller coaster. I'm not an English major. Don't come at me. All right. Matt Skraby, 97.3 The Fan. Skraby Show. When we get back, we're going to talk about some, actually, I'm going to play a couple clips from Bennett Woods in the morning. One of them from Nick Pivetta. But we're going to talk about some bold goals for MLB stars in 2026. And Jazz Chisholm Jr. has a very big goal. And I'll tell you about it next. second straight day, I have had NFL Network here on in studio. And for the second straight day, they are replaying an awful game. They're replaying the Titans and the Saints from week 17. Now they're saying it's a rookie showcase for Tyler Shuck. But I don't think he played that great to make this game like a replayable game. 2 days in a row, the Titans get a game. What is going on? Why aren't we watching like the good games? We're just watching the Titans. Cam Ward got destroyed all year. I'm not saying that Cam Ward is bad. Just saying that like every time he drops back, it seems like he gets sacked. But anyway, I digress. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. Nick Pivetta. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but we didn't play the clip. And it's all about opening day starter. I want to know. I asked Tony if he thought Nick Pivetta would be the opening day starter. He said he didn't know. I am starting to believe that the opening day starter thing is more important to us fans than it is to the guys. I know it's important to the pitchers because they do say like, hey, it's really cool to be an opening day starter. You know, I've always wanted to be an opening day starter. But really, I think Nick Pivetta deserves it. And so Ben Woods asked him this morning if they asked him about opening day and being the opening day starter. Here's what he said.
No, it's not really in my forecast. I'm just focusing on what I can do to help the team win. Wherever I pitch, I pitch. I want to pitch in the World Series. That make me game one starter in the World Series. That would make me happy. But it's the season's a long season. However it pans out, they're going to put the best person in position to pitch that game. It doesn't really matter that much. It's very important. It's a great honor, of course, but in the grand scheme of things, what matters is the end result, not the beginning. It's a great honor, like I said, but I just want to win, and wherever I'm slated in.
See, I didn't know that was what he was going to say, but I think we make it a bigger deal than the players do. And it makes sense. Yeah, give me the ball in game one of the World Series. That is way better than opening day. Hey, but again, being an opening day starter is an honor, but Nick Pivetta doesn't care about that. He's just ready to be Nick Pivetta again. Rod says, Skraby, when can we start dropping cash on your stream? I'm still trying to work it there at the YouTube. YouTube has been tougher than I thought to work with. So I need some more subscribers, and this is a shameless plug. Go to the Skraby Show on YouTube, at the Skraby Show, and subscribe. But I need more subscribers. That's very nice of you, Rod. I would never ask for money or anything like that. So still need to get to that point, but appreciate you thinking about me. Nick Pivetta is not going to need any money this year because he is going to be making like $20 million this year. And it's a well-deserved $20 million this year. All right. Here is what I was talking about before break. And that is some crazy goals for MLB stars this year. And it was put up by MLB.com. I know sometimes lists are not fun, but I had fun with this list. And the first one would be Jazz Chisholm Jr. told the media last week that he wants to be a part of the 50-50 club, 50 homers, 50 stolen bases in one season. Obviously, Ohtani is the only one who has done that, but Jazz can easily steal 50 bases. He hit 31 home runs last year at Yankee while he was a Yankee, and he still is a Yankee, but I don't know that Jazz Chisholm Jr. can get to 50 home runs. That is a ton of home runs. That is an absolute ton. It's nice to have the goal, but I don't know he's going to hit 50 home runs. 50 steals, I'll give him that all day. He can steal 50 bases. I don't have any issue with him stealing 50 bases. Let's see how many times he's actually stolen 50 bases in his career. I'm going to have to go back. Stolen bases. He's never stolen 50 bases. So he's trying to do things for the first time in his career. Good goal. Don't think it happens. Another one. Ohtani hits 50 homers and strikes out 200 on the mound. If he's fully healthy, I'm not sure that there's anything that can stop him from striking out 200 guys. Although he doesn't have the same leash in games, long leash in games that he used to. So they need to keep him healthy and they need to let him go a little bit longer in games if he's going to get to 200 plus strikeouts. I don't know. He could get the 50 home runs, obviously. And he could get the 200 strikeouts. It's going to have to be a really good season as a pitcher for him to get the 200 strikeouts. Next one, Bobby Witt Jr. crushes 40 home runs with new Kauffman Stadium dimensions. Now, Bobby Witt Jr. is he won me a fantasy championship. So I know that he could hit home runs. That year I had him in 2024 and he hit 332, 977 OPS, 32 home runs, 109 RBIs. I think that this one, I would not be surprised at all. And I think that he probably gets 40 home runs this year. He's just that good. And he keeps getting better. Wow. Eric just threw up a stat on the chat that floors me. If true, only 34 players have ever hit 50 homers. I've never actually looked at it, but if Jazz wants to be the 35th player, I don't know. I don't think Jazz can get there. Next one. Tarek Skubal of the Tigers punches out 300 hitters. Now, this is crazy. 300 hitters, 300 strikeouts, I mean, is just not something I think is possible in this game anymore because of the way things are. But if there is a guy who could do it, who could flirt with that 300 number, it's probably Tarek Skubal. He struck out 241 guys last year, and he struck out 228 hitters the year before, and he did it in under 200 innings in each of those seasons. So if he has a season where he goes more than 200 innings, he could get to 300 strikeouts. I think this is not likely, but I think it's totally possible. This is not a crazy prediction whatsoever. It might be crazy in the way that no one will probably ever do it again. But again, if there is a guy who could do it, it's probably Tarek Skubal. And now the final one, Skeens posts a 10-plus WAR season. So Paul Skeens, and the last time a 10-plus WAR season happened was in 2009 when Zach Greinke had a 10-plus WAR season. He actually had a 10.4 WAR for the Royals in 2009. Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez are the only other pitchers in the 21st century to reach a 10-plus WAR. He posted a 7.7 WAR last year in 187 2/3 innings. But I'm not really sure if he's going to get to a 10-plus WAR. But just like Skubal, I think that I think that he could get to the 10-plus WAR. He's going to have to pitch more than 200 innings, though. And he's going to have to be, I mean, he was as efficient as you could be last year. 1.97 or 96 ERA in the first two seasons. I thought that was a little bit low, but Paul Skeens can do it. You know, I did not appreciate Paul Skeens his rookie season because I felt like everyone was overshadowing, or he was overshadowing Jackson Merrill, because we all know Jackson Merrill actually won the Rookie of the Year, but Paul Skeens is going to be a force to reckon with. He is very good. Oh, actually, there's one more that I didn't see, and it's Mason Miller. Mason Miller, only 3 pitchers have struck out half of the batters they faced in the season. So they're predicting that he's going to strike out half of the batters he faces. Edwin Diaz in 2022, Aroldis Chapman in 2014, and Craig Kimbrell in 2012. Last year, Mason Miller had a 44.4% strikeout rate. So if he strikes out some more guys, he can easily get to 50. I think he can get there. I think Mason Miller can strike out 50% of the batters faced this year. I'm just ready for baseball season. So I'm a sucker for those articles because it's nice and fun to think about those articles. But a lot of those are maybe some dreams. Tarek Skubal maybe gets there. Bobby Witt Jr. definitely is going to hit 40 home runs this year. Definitely. Book it. No, don't book it, because every time I say book it, something bad happens. All right. We're going to go to break. Head into the final segment. We're going to talk about Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. We're also going to talk about Kalshi and someone who was caught in an insider trading scheme. We'll talk about that when we get back here.
Ben and Woods.
Final segment of the Skraby Show here on 97.3 The Fan. Actually just got a picture of my dog Lucky. And he's like sitting. Okay, so it's a couch. It's like a couch. How do I describe this couch? It's like has two ottomans and a middle piece. And then there's like a little bit, there's like another place where you put your feet. But my dog Lucky constantly decides to put himself in the like most awkward positions in the entire world. He's a 90-pound dog. He's very tall. And all he wants to do is like put himself in these extremely uncomfortable looking positions. So I'm showing it on the camera right now. If everybody wants to see it, you can go to at the Skraby Show on YouTube and look at it. But I don't know how he does it. And a lot of the time he just sleeps with his legs in the air. It's very strange. But he's a good boy. I need to have some sort of dog meetup. But the one thing I'm concerned about with a dog meetup is that dogs might not get along. And I don't want to, how do I say this? I don't want to be responsible for dogs getting into a fight, but Lucky loves playing and Lucky loves being lucky. So maybe one day, Matt Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. We are going to have a daily gripe at the end of the show, but let's talk about some of these stories that I have been saving. And Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are dealing with a lawsuit tied to the name of their restaurant in Kansas City, 1587 Prime. And so it's a steakhouse, I believe. And they applied for this trademark in December of 2023. And so they applied for this trademark in the restaurant category. However, the complaint that was brought comes from 1587 Sneakers, which says it began selling the footwear under that name on April 13th of 2023. Now, here's the thing that I don't believe at all. Here's the thing that I don't believe at all. The sneaker brand claims that scores of consumers have reached out believing that the two ventures are connected. Number one, sorry, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. Number one, no one is going to confuse your shoe company for a steakhouse. Number two, if people are calling up and trying to ask if you're connected to Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, you can say no, but hey, come buy some of our shoes and you'll get the 1587 brand or mark on it. So it all comes down to whether or not these two companies are able to coexist because the shoe company filed theirs under merchandise. And so they are seeking to ban the restaurant from continuing to use the 1587 branding, halt the sale of all merchandise, and secure unspecified damages. So this, to me, seems like it's a shakedown, or they're trying to shake down Patrick Mahomes, because trademarks can be given to the same characters. So 1587 can be given to two different companies if the two different companies are in different industries and they are filed as different industries. So the shoe company is, merchandise and clothing, and the steakhouse is a restaurant. So someone who is a trademark attorney commented on this article, and they said, quote, "I think it's a tough case for the sneaker company. Trademarks can coexist in different industries. Given that the marks are essentially identical here, is a restaurant and a shoe company too close? Are consumers likely to be confused in thinking they are affiliated with one another?" Here's where I'm going to defend them. This is a complete money grab by these people. I don't think that 1587 shoes is confusing from 1587 steak. And what bothers me about this is, yes, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce have lots of money, but now they have to go and pay an attorney to dispute this and to push back on this. And they haven't had any comments or anything on it, but I cannot stand when people try to take advantage of a situation. Now, I was going to say, now maybe their business is, the shoe company business is failing. Sorry. The way out of your shoe company failure is not to sue two NFL players in a flimsy lawsuit at best. And it clogs up the courts. So I'm not a fan of this, but I will keep a lookout and see if I get any sort of news on whether or not they are awarded money, the shoe company, or whether they just kind of like throw this out. But frivolous lawsuits, not my favorite. And if you're someone like 1587 shoes, again, if someone found me because they typed in 1587, isn't that a good thing? Aren't you happier to be tied to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's brand because people are going to confuse it or Google it or whatever? I don't know. It bothers me. Katrina says, "What's the significance of 1587 for the shoes?" I don't know. I looked through and I tried to find that, but there's no real information on why they named it 1587. What is it called? It's 1587 sneakers. So I'm not sure why, but they argue that their business is being ruined because Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes were behind it. This is a ridiculous lawsuit. If we were doing sports court, Chris would throw it out. All right. Here's where I have been talking about this for at least 4 or 5 months. But Kelce is a prediction market. I have come to explain it like this. It's basically like betting on sports, but you're buying stocks. And so you buy your stock, and then other people can raise the price, and then you sell it or whatever. It's just like stocks. So I've been really worried about insider stuff going on with this, because I think it's way easier to pull off insider trading with Kelce than it is for sports betting. But an editor who worked at YouTube's biggest person, Mr. Beast, has been suspended from the market platform Kelce after Artem Kuptor traded around $4,000 on markets related to Mr. Beast. The investigators discovered that he had near perfect trading success on bets about the YouTuber's videos with low odds, making the wagers appear really suspicious. So number one, this guy is doing something wrong. And number two, this guy is not very smart because he didn't try to hide it at all. It seems like he had a near perfect trading success. But here's a part that I saw in this article. I was like, really? Many people, actually, Mr. Beast is a popular thing to trade on Kalshi. They bet hundreds of thousands of dollars on what he's going to say in his next video, number of subscribers he's going to have at the end of the year, when he's actually going to get married. I don't have any words. I'm sorry. I know that it's everyone's choice how they spend their money, but I feel like this is a complete waste of money. Why bet on like someone like Mr. Beast? I also saw, and this is sports betting, but I saw people betting on the Madden NFL championships. Like, what are we doing? I've never been someone who is a big time bettor, so I understand this is why I feel this way. But I have been someone who has been through addiction, still, has to fight through the addiction, and sports betting and all of this stuff is just like my addiction. And I feel like all of this is just such a slippery slope for people around the world. And I think this is going to get way worse than it gets better. But so he placed the bets, $4,000. He made, they didn't actually say how much he made, but he was fined $20,000 and suspended from the platform for 2 years. So this is actually apparently Kalshi. I guess if there's one thing we could take from this, a good thing, is that they are watching this and they are monitoring to make sure this stuff doesn't happen. And so I'm happy about that there is at least some safeguards in place to make sure this stuff doesn't happen. But this is going to get worse. This is going to get way worse because we talked about the Maduro bets, and someone made $400,000 on the U.S. invading Venezuela, and they most likely had insider information, but they can't really prove that. Apparently, a couple years ago, a guy named Kyle Langford was running for California governor, and he put on X that he bet on himself to win the governor seat or position, and he encouraged others to do the same. But it was a social media stunt, and Kalshi said, no, you can't do this. We're banning you for 5 years, and we're going to hand you a $1,000 fine. So the fines aren't very serious. I guess that guy got a $20,000 fine, but banning him for 5 years seems serious. Trevor says, Kalshi took a week to verify my social security number. I had already made a prediction. See, those are the other sides of things that I don't like, because it's just kind of the wild, wild west. Now, before we get into, and Andy says, I can't believe they refer to gambling as trading now. Only in the Kalshi world, only in the futures prediction world. But yes, people use it as gambling. I was talking about this last night, but I was curious to see how much money was spent on the State of the Union address, or how much money was traded on the State of the Union address. And it was a lot less than I thought. I really have to say. The State of the Union generated $11.97 million in volume. And that seems pretty low for me, I have to say. I would have thought that people would have bet more on that, but it was only $11.97 million. A lot of the trades came as the speech started, and in the middle of the speech, from 9 to 10 p.m., the peak volume was $2.76 million and 85,000 trades. So in that hour was one of the best markets that they have had at Kalshi. But 2.76 million from 9 to 10 p.m., 85,000 people made trades between 9 and 10 p.m. So people are out there doing it. They broke it down like $2.7 million was, I already said that, sorry. Like $6 million was made traded between 8 to 11 p.m. But anyway, maybe I'm the only one who found that interesting. I just was looking out for it because I thought there would be a number out there.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
All right, Daily Gripe is one that happened this morning. And I'm trying to find out when the Aztecs game starts. Starts at 8. That's what I thought. But someone said go Aztecs on the chat. I thought maybe the game had started. But no, starts at 8. So they're playing Utah State tonight. But here is the Daily Gripe. When I finally got to the freeway this morning, I hit the metering lights. And my gripe is this. When it says 2 cars per green, 2 cars per green, 2 cars per green, you have to pay attention to the sign. So what I'm saying is the person who does not pay attention to the sign, whether you're the person that doesn't be the second car to go through, or whether you're the person who is the second car that goes through in a 1-car light, it drives me nuts. Like, why do people not pay attention to anything? And so then the metering lights are there for a reason. It's to split everybody up so there's not some crazy crash happening as everybody's trying to get on the freeway. But I looked at this person as they drove through, and I'm like, what do you do? They just kind of went through, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It just bothers me. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. It makes me sound lame, but I'm pretty sure everyone out here has had a metering light situation that has angered them in the past. So there you go. That is my daily gripe. Texting. Yeah, I see that on the chat. I see people texting and talking on the phone all the time. All right, that's it for me. Back tomorrow. Gwen and Chris, 2 p.m., 97.3 The Fan. Good night, everybody.